I believe we all have the natural ability to be mediums.
A dog owner is literally is trying to connect with the dog, and the dog is trying to connect with the human, and they can't connect because of
The whole point about the exchange of energy of the life of us with our pets is we help them grow, they help us grow. Because there is an awareness of God, the soul within the body, talk to them, talk to the soul. Ego is not just a word, it's an energy field that resides within human being body. Because the mind belongs to the material world, belongs to the dimension of planet Earth.
Hello, dog lover. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. And in this live video that I'm recording with a guest of mine, I have Miki Jacobs. She's a medium and also an author. We're going to learn about animal connection with dogs specifically. And Miki, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Saro. Thank you so much for inviting me. It is lovely being here.
All right, thank you. So I have some questions, but before we start with the questions, I just wanted to for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about what do you do, what specifically you do, and how do you do, and just introduce yourself.
Of course. So I was born and raised in Israel in somewhat Orthodox Jewish home. And I was really as far from a spiritual path as one can be. At the age of 19 or so, I joined the Israeli army. So, and then I moved to the United States and I kind of started being a little bit more open up to spirituality in a way that, of course, God or the Creator is energy, in a way of training myself how to quiet my mind, meaning meditating. I was around 33 years old. Back then, I owned a business for many, many years here in Long Beach, California. It was a glass company when we did cars and we did glazing, meaning hotels and homes. And I was once again just started to kind of shifting as I got more and more into spirituality. I kind of sort of felt a little bit foreign in the business world or the corporate world, and slowly I started to shift, certainly from religion into spirituality, into God's energy, into meditation. I became a Reiki master. I did energy healing for people and for animals. And then as I improved my ability to quiet the mind, I actually started hearing spirit. I actually started channeling spirit. I did not work with people yet back then. I starting to do automatic writing, meaning I channel spirit and documented. So I have a lot of knowledge and information from the spirit world over the years. And as I got more and more into my spiritual path, I actually closed my business and moved fully into the spiritual path. I opened a business and I started doing readings. Of course, it took many years where the reading got a little bit more complex, where I certainly the business expanded a little more. And now I teach. I have great passion of teaching the spirit world, teaching to people. So I do events, I do videos, of course, I do readings. I teach people how, like myself, I believe we all have the natural ability to be mediums. I think we all born with it. I know, obviously, from my experience, we do have a soul that we reside within the body. We all have to. We can all sense spirit, see spirit, hear spirit. Of course, or I always like to say that it doesn't come natural for us on planet Earth due to the ego, which is not a word, it's an energy reside within the body, the complexity of human being mind, the negativity, the lack of consistent action, because in order to communicate with spirit, and that will include animals and will include dogs, we can touch that subject a little bit if you'd like, but in order to communicate with the spirit world, we need to work on it. We need to learn how to quiet the We need to meditate. We need to accumulate spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge pushes us forward. So it's required great amount of work. It's a consistency, but I really believe that we all have the ability to be medium, which is why I train people that, like myself, we can all be mediums, or whatever phrase you want to use it, at any point in life. So
Wow.
to go to the other aspect of what I do, I wrote 2 books. The first
Mm,
was about 7 or so, 8 years ago, called Soul Secrets. And I discussed so about the concept of a team, which is a group of spirit that accompany each one of us. It consists of spirit guides and angels and archangels, and sometimes departed loved one as well as departed pet. They accompany us from the moment we incarnate into this planet until the moment we exit the body, until we die. So this first book explains each member of our team, their purpose, what we do. And I have a recent book, which why I would approach you, since you deal with dogs or pets.
mm,
It's called a Sacred Wild. So this is about the spiritual world of animals, how much there are more to animals than we think. I also, within this book, discuss the spiritual world of animals, their souls, incarnation, karma, what we do when they die, where is their soul go after they die. But in this book, I did a comparison throughout the book. So I talk about the incarnation of animals, humans, karma of animals, humans, past lives, humans. I kind of wanted to have the interconnectedness, which including my subtitle, between that. So this book, which we'll discuss today, I would love to give a little bit of a perspective about pets. Certainly, I will focus on dogs and their
mm.
unbelievable powers and the important mission, and how much more there are than just what we think, they're only pets. So I will discuss that. So the book is a combination of my experience channeling departed pets over the years through readings, automatic writing, as I mentioned, which I channel information about the teaching of spirit, as well as my intense care for animals, because for the last 25 years or so, my husband Clayton and I rescue animals. We live in Southern California near San Diego, and currently we have 20 animals. So we
Mm.
rescue horses and dogs and cats and tortoises and parrots. A busy home and
Wow.
a noisy home too.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So of course,
yeah,
I have great experience.
yeah.
So all that is in the book.
Wow, lots to impact from this. So let me start from the beginning. I want to kind of personally understand, and maybe my viewers want to understand as well. Let's go back. What did spark that idea or the passion for you to get started, like to feel that you could connect and also be a medium? What did it start? What happened? What was the beginning of this journey?
So the journey began by the first and foremost rule that we must discipline the mind or the thought. We must. Otherwise, we will never be able not only directly communicate with spirit, we will be oblivious of the spirit world, because the
Mhm.
mind belongs to the material world, belong to the dimension of planet Earth. So if the mind is busy, that will not work. Hence the concept of meditation. That's why
Mm.
meditation is a core concept of spirituality. Without meditation, would simply mean training oneself to quiet the mind. Nothing will happen. So first, that start with me diving into meditation. And actually, from experience, Saro, I realized that when my mind is quiet, I am able to get elevated to a higher frequency and actually start hearing spirits. So
Mm.
that is really what pushed me there. So spirituality is about you not only practice, but you start seeing the results. You start seeing what's happened when you are able to quiet the mind, because you're open to the spirit world, you open to energy, you open to signs from spirit, and you open with the ultimate goal of communicating with spirit. So
I
really
see.
that's what pushed me. So what pushed me is really the results that I start seeing. So it's like believing and seeing in regard to spirituality. But once again, like I mentioned before, it's require hard work, which no one or most people are unwilling to do. A lot of people tell me, I don't have time to meditate. Sure we do. So wake up
Yeah,
before one and meditate, but of
right.
course we don't just talk about meditation, we talk about spiritual classes and knowledge videos such as yourself, and we believe that it's true. Once we believe that we're true, it would push us forward to practice, and then we start seeing the results.
I see. So basically, you started to quiet your mind, and that gave you the opportunity to feel and also connect with the spirits and to be more connected to the natural beings, I would say.
You connected to a higher beings such as spirit
Mm.
guides and angels, but more so when we quiet the mind, when we become more spiritual, for lack of better word, we are also very important. I can touch that in regarding
Mm.
to animals, certainly dog, is that
Mm.
when we align ourselves with the soul. So it's very, very important in any interview that I do about both my books is to discuss the concept of soul. That is
Mm.
exactly why I wrote the books about animals, because people unaware of a soul don't believe in soul, and more so sorrow do not believe that animals have souls. So once
Mm.
we know the concept of soul, which is God within us, a soul is a part or fragment or extension, small part of the creator. Of course, here I'm talking about the creator as energy, as opposed to when I grew up as in Judaism, and I believe most religion, God is a little bit more of a figure, a little bit more of a frightening figure, a little bit more. When I grew up, I always use the phrase in my mind since I was a child, is a figure of a male with a beard and a cane that will strike me dead if I don't
Right.
follow rules. And of course, that's
Right.
Judaism, so you can apply it in any other religion. And of course, spiritual God is that magnificent, beautiful, a magical protector, our healer that permeate everything. So animals
Mm.
have part of him, certainly human beings have part of him, all of nature, everything that we see, everything that is out there is created by this supreme being. So as you can
Wow.
see, it is a completely different outlook than religion, which why I detach from it. Of course, a lot of people, religion is great for people that get to God that way. That is fine. This is obviously my take or the take of spirituality. But
Mm.
nonetheless, that was it is. So
Mm.
again, it's not only the meditation, is looking at spiritual concept, God as energy, he resides within us as the soul, which why I use the phrase where we can communicate with spirit because we have God power within us. The soul is very powerful, part of God, interconnected with God, and therefore can do things which I can touch as to what specifically
Yeah.
dogs can do because they have the
Mm.
soul in their body.
From my perspective as a dog trainer myself,
Yeah.
when I approach like dog related issues with dog owners, um, my main one of my main approaches is to help dog owners. I call myself a coach rather than just a dog trainer.
Yeah.
A coach because I need to clarify a lot of questions that dog owners have regarding their dogs, because a dog owner is trying to connect with the dog, and the dog is trying to connect with the human, and they can't connect because of as you say, busy mind, busy environment, busy life, and all that. And one of the techniques that I use is to ask dog owners to dedicate a time that they can go back to their childhood, be as pure as kid they can be, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. Go back to that feeling that you had when you were 7, 8 years old, and be that person, be that kid, and then interact with your dog, because that brings that purity to the relationship, brings that purity to the connection. And most dog owners are not able to do that, I think, because again, as you mentioned a few times, we are busy. We are dog owners, humans in general, they are so busy with life, with
Yes,
politics, with religion, with this and that, that they can't disconnect themselves from kind of reality of life, and
yes,
therefore they have a dog who's actually misbehaving, and the connection for them is not clear because they don't see it. They don't
yes,
see the connection. And
yes,
I love that you are also pointing out that we need to not only clear our mind for living a better lives, but clearing our minds to be able to connect. Maybe we'll be able to connect with the loved ones who have passed away, our dogs and all that. But
yeah.
it's very interesting that you mentioned that. And so let's talk about more specifically about animals in general, because my audience is about dogs mainly. So what happens when a dog passes away?
So we spoke about the soul. So a soul being part of God is immortal. The soul is an energy being that simply resides within the body. Now, at the time of death, when a dog died, the soul exit from the crown chakra and exit the body and travel to the spirit world. It's very important for me to explain to people no animal dies alone. In the same way that us humans, we do not die alone. It doesn't matter what the circumstances of the passing. Human beings have a lot of beings that help us at the time of death and kind of accompany us to the beautiful heavenly dimension of the spirit world. Animals, pets, dogs are accompanied by the nature spirits.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's used the phrase elementals. Gaia, our mother earth, helped the transition of animals, soothe the fear of animals, governing the soul to the spirit world, and the soul is there. Please, I hope that your viewer would understand. Even if it's appear that the animal is afraid, there is bunch of spirit around that helps soothe the animal. Animals are God children like us. So he what take care of us and not animals? Of course not. Again, you have to remain open to the concept. And the soul, once in the spirit world, accompany us, help us, guard us, guide us, because remember, it's not the animals, it's the soul. And in
Mhm.
the years when our own time happened, when we meant to be done with this incarnation, we will leave the body ourselves, and our dog's gonna greet us back.
Wow, that's powerful. That's so soothing to hear as well. When you connect with a pet, uh, a loved one pet, is that what you also provide? Can you provide like a connection to a pet? If somebody asks you, can you connect to my pet? First of
So
all.
mediumship reading, which why I put it in the website and I explain, is I don't know who come. Because as I use the phrase, people didn't call to Miki, they call to talk to spirit. A lot of
Mm,
people have list. Can you cover this? I say, I don't want to see your list and interesting. It's always beautifully
yeah.
covered. So we don't know because reading is very governed by spirits, or they know exactly what to bring. This is not a
Mm,
fortune telling. They know exactly what to reveal,
right.
show me, and therefore the person. So sometimes a departed pet will enter, whether because the grief is very hard, whether because they just want to enter. So yes, so no, I
Yeah,
never know who's going to
I
come, but
see.
when they do come, it's interesting to mention briefly that channeling from a human soul would be more complex due to
Mm,
the life we have. So they bring relationship. I'm sorry, I didn't say I love you. I did this, that. Animal channeling is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's
mm,
they're like you mentioned, they're like little kids. They
mm.
bring little bits and pieces. Oh, mom, I'm sorry I did that, and they show me the collar, and of course,
Right.
me too. Beautiful. Everything about them is beautiful.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, so um, are you able to look at from your perspective to animal behavior point of view?
Yes. So again, a soul would incarnate into a certain breed, into a certain personality, kind of like us. Miki have some weaknesses I need to work on. So the same thing like there. So a Shih Tzu, which we have, so stubborn, we tell him to come, he go backward. I'm like, oh my God, we're
Right,
laughing
right.
at that. And then there
Yeah.
is another mixed poodle that don't leave us alone. So it's byproduct of the personality. Now, is that mean you don't teach or hire someone like Saro to teach the human how to do that? Sure, it doesn't mean that. In the same way, I can say, well, sorry, a rage is part of my personality. I'm not going to do anything. Of course not. It's the whole point is to be receptive and open what we need to fix. So
Yeah.
animals, they each different. We have three cats, one completely different than the other. But what you need to people understand is you keep in mind it's just a part of that personality. It's not good, not bad, it's just a part. And if it's undesirable, the whole point about the exchange of energy of the life of us with our pets is we help them grow, they help us grow.
Mm,
Soul's growth is always two sides. Always two sides. There is no, I'll teach you this incarnation and you can take a break. There is never like that. So it's an exchange. So surely we won't. Besides, the dog is unhappy if we unhappy. So you want, but gently, patiently, you keep in mind, you respect the animal because the animal is a child of God. If you a human being say, I love God, I go to church, I love God, then you will honor animals. Because unfortunately, to my sadness, most channeling from pets are lovely, but sometimes they're showing me the abuse. And sometimes they're showing me the careless, ran out of the yard and got hit by a car. Awful. So can accident happen? No, not really. That wouldn't happen to me because those are my children. So
mm,
if they died, if they get ill, of course. So we need to honor them. We need to know what a broadened perspective they have. We need to know their unbelievable important mission in our lives that they have. And we need to understand they have weakness. There is no form of planet Earth, animals, human, plants, tree that don't have some defect. It is the nature of the material world. It is a nature of being have defects sometimes. So work on it. Help you. You will help your kids to get better. If the kids have rage, you're not going to say, "Well, part of." No, you help them. Therapy if needed. You discuss with the child. Same thing with your fairy kids. Same thing.
wow. That resonates really with me because one of the teachings that I do as well, as I said, I also coach dog owners, which is a little bit different than other dog trainers. I do dog training, but coaching is, I think I talk about these in depth with my students, which is one of them is like a dog owner will contact me. I have a dog who's aggressive or whatever, right? It has with this behavioral issues, and I have this dog and I need help and all that. So my first point to them is there's a reason why universe brought this dog to
Yes.
you,
Yes.
and and the I'm guessing
Yes.
there's a purpose that
Yes.
you were chosen to
Yes.
help this dog.
Oh,
And
that's beautiful.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually called soulmates pets. So the pets you have are the pets that meant to be for you. There is absolutely a soul contract, as it's called,
Hmm.
an exchange of words. Yeah,
Wow.
beautifully said.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh wow, you brought that word, the contract.
Yeah, that's a soul contract.
One of the things that I tell my students is that um, when you get a dog, whether you get it from puppy breeder or shelter or whenever you get this dog, you sign an invisible contract with your dog.
Oh, how lovely.
Yes. Like, not the actual contract that you sign with the
Right,
breeder
an
or
energetic
whatever.
contract.
Yeah, you
Beautiful.
sign a contract with the dog. You're saying, you know what, I'm gonna take care
Oh,
of you. I'm gonna make your life better and all that. And your
oh, that's so
goal,
beautiful.
yes, your goal should be to now focus on that. So when I have students or people who are working with me with their dogs' behavioral issues, let's say, I'm not only working on helping the dog to get less reactive or less aggressive or what. I'm working on the human itself to change their lives because I
Beautiful.
said, the reason you have this dog is a message from the universe that you need to change your life. You need to
Yes,
improve some part of your life. And this dog has
yes,
become a tool to help you to
yes,
reach that
yes.
goal. And
Beautiful.
as long as you're doing the same thing and your expectations are limited, this dog is going to be this way, reactive or whatever it
Yes,
is,
beautiful.
until you change. If you don't
Yes,
change, the dog is not going to change. And
right,
that's
right.
very, wow, it's
Beautiful.
amazing
That's
what
why
you're
I was
saying.
bringing up. I was
Yeah.
bringing the Shih Tzu that talking about is teaching us patient.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, so there's certain breed you come your way to teach. I mean, yeah, it's well said. Good for you, Saro. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I
The
think
breed.
there is a reason why we have a dog in general. I mean, there are billions of humans in the world, but there are very limited people who have dogs or animals.
Yes. Yes.
And I think there is a reason why we have animals. There is a reason why I have a dog. I have
Yes.
dogs, and there is a
Yes.
reason why I'm working with dogs because
Yes.
there's a purpose behind it. And I
Yes.
think when we have a dog, the goal here is to not only help me to improve their lives, but the dog's goal is to help me to improve my life. And
Yes.
again, if I'm if I'm working 24/7 and I'm not paying attention to my dog, and my dog is left aside and is the last thing that I think about, then
Yes.
my dog is going to give me signals to me that, hey, you got to wake up,
Yes.
you got to
Yes.
change something. uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Very important.
but yeah, I think that's a great way of understanding the purpose
Yes.
of life as well.
Yes.
um, so,
If I mention here
yeah.
really quickly that I because there is an awareness of God, the soul within the body, talk to them, talk to the
Mhm.
soul, not talk to them. It's kind of similar, Sorrow, when people tell me that their loved one is a coma and they're saying they're not aware. Sure, there is aware. Sure, because there's a soul within the body that aware of everything going on. So I advise to people, if unfortunately your dog is ready to pass, talk to their soul. I use things like, you did a good job as a dog. You really taught me a lot. Doesn't matter if it's coma, no coma, doesn't,
Yeah, yeah,
it's the same thing they can do. You say something like, I don't like your behavior. Now, of
yeah.
course, the personality there, but again, the awareness of the soul can provide a way broader opportunity for a connection, behavior, certainly when they cross over.
Right, right. So let's talk about your latest book. You're talking about mainly animals. Share a
Yes.
little bit of information about your book, and there we go. Yeah.
I did an interview yesterday and she said, "Why don't you show the book?" And I said, "I'm going to do it to Sarah."
Yeah, of course,
So,
yes, yeah. I'll have it in the description as well, and also on the side.
oh, thank
So,
you, dear.
talk,
Thank you
talk
so
to us
much.
a little bit about this book. What
Of
motivated you
course.
to write this book, and what is it in this book?
Of course. So the name against Sacred Wild, and it's the spiritual world of animals, and I put including pets and its interconnectedness with us. So again, a lot of what we discuss is there. And I mentioned it before, because I decided to write a book, which is a spiritual book, kind of, I said, why not compare it to human? Because A, it would give the reader additional information, spiritual information, but it's like I brought it today. When you understand them and us, then it's essentially help us to understand animals a little bit more. So
Mhm.
throughout the book, there is a lot of comparison, spiritually speaking, between there and us. Also, the book is kind of divided into kind of where the first half or so, it's more spiritual. So it's like I talk about incarnation and about past lives and the spirit world. The other part is a little bit more planet Earth information, meaning the difference between wild and pets, wild animal and pets, what to do in grief, advice about grief. You know, the end of the book, I put a Q&A. Is it okay to visit zoos? I mean, what do I do? You know, question that I hear over the years. Certainly, well, I have a new baby, I can't have the dog anymore, really. So I put that question there in regard to there is a soul contract. You have
Mhm.
an exact equal soul contract with your human child as you do with the animals, like you mentioned yourself. So the book is kind of divided into two. It took me a long time to write this book, way longer than the other one. It's a lot of it automatic writing, as I said, my own experience, and a lot of channeling through souls that come forward. I'm very passionate about the book. It's very important to me to spread the message. So, of course, it's on Amazon, and I come to lovely interviews such as yourself, but which why I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So,
Oh, thank you for sharing this. I believe there's a reason. Again, there's a purpose, and there's a reason why I found you. There's a
oh,
reason why I felt that connection with you to create this opportunity for us to talk about this subject. And I'm
yes,
sure there's a purpose and reason for the viewers of this video also
yes.
to know you and to know that you exist and you have this message. It's a powerful message for, I
Oh,
believe, all animal lovers, including dog owners, to learn and
yes,
understand. I encourage everybody to. I'll put some information in the description to learn more about you, to get the book
yes,
as well.
yes,
I'm looking forward to it too, to reading it as well, and understand my animals, my dogs, and myself and my life a little bit more. And as you said, the more we educate ourselves, the better we get in life. And this is
yes,
one of the ways. One of the ways of being educated is to talk about it, to share stories and information, and you know, all that information that you have now. I'm sure I wrote book myself too, but what
oh,
it did what it did every time I've written few ones, but every time I write, all that weight goes
yes,
away, and
it
it
really is.
releases, and it's
Yes,
now there's a space for another one. It's always
yes, yes,
and
yes,
I feel that you have the same thing. It's all that information is weighing on your head, and you have to get it out. And now
it's
you have
very much,
space.
yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you have space for and time to write the next book, which is
Oh,
which is going to be
yeah,
also. I'm sure it's going to come. But overall, I want to thank you for being a guest today and talk about this interesting subject. I'm sure my viewers and myself, I'm going to have a lot more questions and a lot more things to talk about this subject. I would love to have you again as a guest in my show in near future and talk about this
Yes.
subject again. But
Yes.
where can everybody learn more about you and what you do and your book?
So there is a website. So it's mikijacobs.com. So everything is there, what I do. Also, I have a social media under Media Miki Jacobs in Facebook. And once a week, so I actually do video. So I do different topic. Yeah, I call it angel chat. And I kind of choose with not only just about animals, kind of mixed spirituality. The
Mhm.
Facebook is kind of fun because I put videos of my kids.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
And then there is also link to YouTube, and yeah, so it's all there basically. Of course, the book is on Amazon.com, Sacred Wild. I appreciate you putting the link there.
Yeah, yeah.
But basically, yeah, basically it's there. So it's
Great.
yeah.
I want to thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to talk to you again.
Me
And
too.
thank you very much. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
coming.
Thank you so much, Saro.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.